The painting, The Irritating Gentleman by Berthold Woltze, is an evocative piece of 19th century German art that captures a moment of tension and discomfort in a seemingly ordinary scene. The painting, executed in a realist style, depicts three individuals sitting in a train compartment, each displaying starkly different emotions. The focal point is a young woman in a modest dress with a sorrowful expression, sitting by the window. She seems deeply troubled, her face turned away slightly, lost in thought, with an air of resignation or distress. Next to her, an older gentleman leans in her direction, his posture and expression suggesting that he is addressing her in an unwelcome manner. Dressed in a grey coat and a hat, he embodies the very essence of an intrusive and overbearing presence. The third character, partially obscured in the background, appears indifferent or preoccupied with his own matters, making no effort to intervene or acknowledge the discomfort of the young woman. The painting is a masterful representation of unspoken social interactions and the nuances of human emotions. Woltze captures a moment that feels universally recognizable, the experience of being cornered in an unwanted conversation, the struggle between politeness and personal space, and the unspoken societal expectations that govern behavior, particularly between men and women. The young woman's discomfort is palpable. Her downcast gaze and closed posture suggest that she wishes to withdraw from the situation, but she seems unable to do so. The older man, by contrast, appears entirely oblivious to her distress, his animated expression and confident posture implying that he is either amused by his own words or unconcerned with their reception. The setting of the painting plays a crucial role in amplifying the emotional intensity of the scene. The confined space of the train compartment heightens the sense of entrapment and inescapability. Unlike in an open public setting, where the woman could walk away or seek refuge among others, here she is forced to endure the unwanted attention. The wooden benches, the overhead luggage rack, and the dim lighting contribute to the overall mood of discomfort and social claustrophobia. The train, a symbol of modernity and movement, paradoxically becomes a space of emotional stagnation for the woman, where she must endure rather than escape. One of the remarkable aspects of Woltze's work is his ability to convey deep psychological states through subtle facial expressions and body language. The young woman's face, though not exaggerated in its emotion, speaks volumes. There is a heaviness in her eyes, a quiet plea for the moment to end, or perhaps an internal struggle as she contemplates whether she should respond or remain silent. The older man's face, in contrast, exudes a smug confidence. His slightly raised eyebrows and open mouth indicate that he is engaged in conversation, possibly making a joke or remarking on something he finds amusing. The painting is not just about these two individuals, but also about the broader social dynamics at play. In the 19th century, societal norms dictated strict gender roles, particularly in public spaces. Women were expected to be courteous and demure, even in the face of unwanted advances or uncomfortable situations. The young woman's posture and reluctance to engage suggest that she is adhering to these expectations, enduring the situation rather than openly confronting it. The older gentleman, on the other hand, embodies a figure of privilege and entitlement, acting without concern for how his behavior affects others. A fascinating element of the painting is the presence of the third passenger who sits behind the young woman. Though partially obscured, his presence is significant. He represents the bystander, the passive observer who chooses not to involve himself. His disinterest mirrors a common societal tendency to ignore or downplay the discomfort of others, especially when it comes to gendered interactions. This adds another layer to the painting, raising questions about collective responsibility and social norms. The viewer is left to wonder whether this bystander is simply unaware of what is happening, or if he is deliberately ignoring the situation to avoid conflict. The choice of color and lighting in the painting also plays an essential role in reinforcing its themes. Woltze uses a muted, earthy palette with browns, grays, and subdued blues dominating the scene. This subdued color scheme adds to the painting's realism and makes the expressions and body language of the subjects more prominent. The lighting is soft and natural, likely coming from the train's window, casting subtle shadows that enhance the depth and texture of the figures. The illumination on the young woman's face accentuates her distress, while the older man's face remains partially in shadow, adding a sense of ambiguity to his character. The historical context of the painting adds another layer of meaning. During the late 19th century, Europe was experiencing rapid industrialization and modernization, with rail travel becoming increasingly common. Trains, as a mode of transportation, were spaces where people from different social backgrounds were forced into close proximity. This setting created a unique social dynamic where interactions between strangers became inevitable and social hierarchies were sometimes blurred or conversely reinforced. In The Irritating Gentleman, Woltze captures this tension, using the train compartment as a microcosm of societal interactions where power dynamics, gender roles, and social etiquette all play out in a confined space. Another notable aspect of the painting is its narrative ambiguity. While the title suggests that the older man is indeed an irritating gentleman, Woltze does not explicitly reveal the nature of the conversation. This leaves room for interpretation. What exactly is he saying? Is he simply being overly talkative, sharing a mundane story that the young woman has no interest in hearing? Or is there something more insidious at play? The lack of a clear narrative resolution makes the painting more compelling, allowing viewers to project their own experiences and interpretations onto the scene. Woltze's work can be seen as a commentary on gender dynamics, but it also speaks more broadly to the discomfort of social interactions in confined spaces. Many people have experienced similar moments, being trapped in a conversation they do not want to have, feeling powerless to extricate themselves without appearing rude. The painting resonates because it captures something deeply human, something that transcends time and place. Though The Irritating Gentleman was created in the 19th century, its themes remain relevant today. The notion of unwanted interactions, particularly those that place women in uncomfortable situations, continues to be a topic of discussion in contemporary society. The painting serves as a reminder that such issues are not new. They have long been a part of social interactions and continue to shape the way people navigate public spaces. The composition of the painting is meticulously crafted to draw the viewer's eye to the main subjects. The young woman's face is positioned slightly off-center, making her the first figure the viewer notices. The diagonal lines created by the wooden benches and the overhead rack naturally lead the eye toward the older man, reinforcing the connection between the two figures. This strategic use of composition enhances the painting's storytelling, ensuring that the viewer immediately grasps the tension in the scene. One cannot discuss this painting without acknowledging Woltze's exceptional skill as a realist painter. His attention to detail is evident in the texture of the clothing, the fine lines on the characters' faces, and the rendering of light and shadow. Every element in the painting is carefully considered, contributing to the overall narrative and emotional impact. In addition to its technical mastery, the painting stands out for its ability to evoke empathy. The viewer cannot help but feel for the young woman, to recognize her discomfort and share in her silent frustration. At the same time, the painting invites reflection on the older man's perspective. Is he truly unaware of the effect he is having, or is he deliberately ignoring it? This ambiguity makes the painting even more engaging, as it encourages viewers to consider different perspectives. Ultimately, The Irritating Gentleman is a powerful work of art because it captures a moment that is both specific to its time and universally understood. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of The Irritating Gentleman by Berthold Woltze. Art has a unique way of capturing the human experience, inviting us to see, feel, and reflect in ways that transcend time. I hope this journey into the painting's depth and meaning has given you a new appreciation for the subtle yet powerful stories that art can tell. Until next time, keep exploring, keep feeling, and most importantly, keep embracing the beauty and emotion in the art that surrounds you.